Well, hello and welcome back to Direct Source Discourse. I am Rowdy Harris, Principal Customer Success Manager for Argyle's Mortgage Division. Our guest today is one of my absolute favorite people, Jenni Wirt. Jenni, thanks for joining. Why don't you tell the
Absolutely.
listeners who you are, where you work,
Yeah.
and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here. And Rowdy, you're one of my favorite people too. My name is Jenni Wirt. I am operations manager with American Security Mortgage Corp. We are located in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I've been with them for about 13 years. Been in the industry for 28, so seen a few things in my days.
28 years. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So,
I was a baby. I was a baby when I started.
what's your story? Tell us, how did you get started in the business?
Yeah, great question. So I thought I was going to be a veterinarian, did not want to go to school that long. So became a math teacher, taught math for about a year. And then we got pregnant with our first child, and I wanted something that was going to be more flexible. So I was either going to go cell phones, which were really kind of new back then, 1996, or mortgage because I knew somebody, and jumped right into underwriting. So it was with Norwest Mortgage back then, which became Countrywide, and automated underwriting was a brand new thing. And so I came in as an apprentice, and then underwriting's always kind of been my baby. So
That's awesome. So yeah, 28 years. I'm sure you've seen a lot of things, done a lot of things. Is there anything that you're
definitely.
especially proud of in your career?
Yeah, I would say so. I like to say I took a 2-year working sabbatical from American Security back in 2016 and went to a very large lender in the area that I just kind of wanted to see like what it was like and if I could make it. And went over there when they were doing kind of a complete reorg, and thankfully had an operations partner that was a black belt in Six Sigma, and so he taught me so much about reporting and Excel and pivot reports and all kinds of stuff that I had just never had the opportunity to learn. And since then, with the stuff that he taught me, just on the job, I've used back at American Security, and it really just kind of propelled me into a different angle and looking at and managing operations that has it's been fun.
Turned you into a analytics guru, probably, right?
I do like analytics. I guess that's the underwriting side of me there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Here's a fun question for you. So, you've been doing a lot of different things. If you had a magic wand and you can wave it over the industry, what would you change about lending?
Great question. I would make it less expensive for the borrower. It is with technology, it's great and all, but it has just increased the cost of doing loans exponentially. And so, as such, it makes the rates higher, it makes everything more, the fees higher. And so, if I could wave a magic wand, I would take away all those crazy costs that somebody's got to pay for. So it's either getting paid for in the rate or the borrower's paying for it in their fees. So, um, and sorry, but I can't help not say this. You didn't tell me to say this, but that's why we had Argyle because the cost of verifications was so ridiculously expensive.
That's great. Always customer focused. Love that about you. You've seen a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of that in the mortgage industry. The last 3 years have been pretty challenging, right? When we run into times like these, how does your team stay lean and efficient during these slower cycles?
We really pride ourselves in being a company that doesn't staff up and then let go. So we stay really lean all the time for the most part. Lots of people wear lots of different hats, and then when the volume falls off, we use that to train, retrain, or train new things to try to create efficiencies. We find unique individuals within the organization that can kind of manage projects, whether it's organizing stuff on our shared drive or creating spreadsheets or tutorials on things that can be used when things get busier again. So we're already starting to draw on some of those projects that have been done over the last couple of years. So it's really fun to see it all come full circle.
Yeah, it makes total sense. And I imagine a big part of that success is making sure that you stay relevant by offering, up-to-date solutions for both your team and for your borrowers.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of that comes down to technology, right? Plays
Yeah.
a big part of that. How have you gone about prioritizing your investments in technology over the last few years?
We try not to be the first ones out of the gates with technology, while still being in the forefront and being current with what's going on. But that being said, we also don't want to take on super expensive technological advances that we may not need, because we are a very hands-on, customer-centric organization. So, like, I'll speak to underwriters again, like underwriters manually calculating income. We have not to date invested in any automated income calculating engines. We could, we've tried them, but we find it to be better for our company to use the people to be the brains, and then we use technology just to create more efficiency flows, automating the process more than the actual outcome or the product.
I get it. Makes sense. So I guess I would ask you, when you do, or when a lender does decide to bring on a new tool, a new process, a new technology, do you have any advice for a lender that might be struggling to get its team on board with that new process or that new tool or that new technology they've invested in? In other words, is there a pattern for successful adoption?
Yeah. I would start by having everybody read Who Moved My Cheese. Great little tiny book that just reminds people that change is inevitable. And the sooner you get on board with change, the better. And then from there, making sure you have great partners. I will say moving to the credentials-based verification model has been probably one of the more different things and verifications, and having you, Rowdy, to come alongside and continue to educate and continue to offer question and answer periodically. And then, that's the shotgun approach, obviously. And then the rifle approach of finding people who just are having a difficult time getting on board. And so then sitting side by side or doing one-on-ones or two-on-ones, depending on how large the organization is, but just really individualized care for those that are having a harder time getting on board. But managing it closely up front with recurring check-ins and recurring trainings seems to be the best, because people will just revert back to what they know if you don't kind of keep pushing.
Yeah. So staying with it, continuing to drill down. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, here's a good one for you. Who is a media personality or a personality on LinkedIn that everybody should follow?
I loved it when I read this question, and I promise I'm not promoting this person because he is with American Security, but his name is John Overfelt, Jon John. He has like 26,000 followers or something like that, and he gives sales advice, he gives industry advice, he stays really relevant. He reads tons of articles, listens to tons of podcasts, and then kind of consolidates it and brings it back home to any of his followers on LinkedIn, and offers any of the tools that he offers, he lets other people use too. So give it a follow.
Yeah, always looking for a good follow. Appreciate sharing that. Okay, well, last question here for you, Jenni. And I think I know the answer to this. I think we've had this conversation before, but for the people out there, if you weren't doing what you're doing right now and you could choose any other career path, what profession would that be and why?
I have to say, if it wasn't like for money, if it was just what I did, I would be on the mission field always, all the time. If it was for money, I think I would be a veterinarian, which is what I started college to do. I absolutely love animals. And, but I don't want to go back to school for that long still, even today. So But if I could just be a veterinarian just like that and get OJT, then that's what I would do and work with animals.
That's funny. I don't know if I remember sharing. I wanted to be a veterinarian as well, but I found out I was allergic to a lot of the animals, and so it didn't
Oh,
work out.
wow. Yeah, that might be difficult.
Yeah, unfortunately. So,
Yeah, there
all
is
right,
something
Jenny.
coming.
Well, it's been a blast getting a behind the curtains look and hearing some of your secrets to success. I really appreciate you joining us today.
Thanks for having
Folks,
me.
that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you all for tuning in to our latest episode of Direct Source Discourse. Be on the lookout for our next episode. And until next time, have a great day.